friends, my family, and I'm going to continue to work very, very hard for all of you. We got to remember that I am the only America First candidate in this race, and I'm the one who's going to go to Washington and fight for us. I'm going to fight for our children. We need to rid CRT from our schools. There's no reason we should be teaching that to our American school children. We need to support the life of the unborn. I'm 100% pro-life. There's no question about it. I believe life begins at conception. I don't halfway anything, if you will. I support our Second Amendment. I truly believe that is our right is very clear with the Second Amendment, and that is our right to bear arms. And I freely exercise my right to bear arms every single day. And when I get to Washington, I'm going to protect your rights with every fiber of my being. That's right. You can cheer. That's good. Yeah, that's right. We need to stand up for election integrity. We need to make sure when we go to vote, we have to show voter ID so we know who voted, where they voted. It's common sense, and we need to stand up for this. We need to stand up to this radical, tyrannical government that is trying to control every aspect of our life. They have out-of-control spending that has sent inflation through the roof. I was up in Raleigh, and gas prices are heading towards $5 a gallon. That's crazy. And this can easily be fixed if we simply open our pipeline and focus on making us energy independent and making us energy dominant through the world. When the U.S. is weak, the entire world is weak. So we need to be energy dominant and be the strong voice for freedom and our energy. There's so much things to be. We have got so much to fight for this time. This is one of those elections that it's now or never. And I'm going to say that I'm so glad to see so many new faces out here, true patriots that are ready to fight and get in the trenches and support me in my campaign. Again, I am so greatly honored to have your support to run for the 1st Congressional District here in North Carolina. We did very well last time. We know there were shenanigans, but we're going to finish the job this time, and we're going to beat them by even more so they cannot steal this election in 2022. God bless you all. I'd love to take your questions because I'm a true open book person. You can ask me anything because I work for you, the people. I do not work for the party, and I don't work for for Joe Biden. He's not even president.
Patriot, not politician, right?
I am a patriot, not a politician. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And I also need to say, you know what? There's nothing I can do on a federal level to fix everything. We need to make sure there's no magic wand that I can wave. I need everyone to not only vote for me this coming up election, I need you to vote for conservative Republicans. For example, here in Pitt County, we have a sheriff that does not stand up and fight for us. She has a low morale in her. That's right. That's our supporters, I tell you. We need to make sure that we are electing a true patriot, conservative sheriff, and that's why I'm so honored to have our sheriff candidate to here. We have members from the school that are running for school board. We need to make sure they are elected so they can help fight that CRT. We also need to make sure we're fighting that mask mandates. That is child abuse on our children. We need to stop that. Now, they're starting to peel that back because you know why? They did some polling, and they know that they're not going to do well if they continue to push this narrative of COVID. We need to make sure we're standing up and fighting for our freedoms and liberties, standing up to the vax mandates. There's no reason why anyone should have to get a vaccine to keep a job. And first of all, let me just make it clear, it is not a vaccine. It's a shot. So God bless you all. God bless the great state of North Carolina, and God bless America.
Amen.
Woo! Yeah, guys. What? So what do you got?
We got our sheriff candidate here.
Yes? Oh, come on up, Sheriff candidate. Come on up. I'm going to introduce our sheriff candidate, Mr. Gary Weaver. This guy is a true patriot. He's a fighter, a hard worker. He worked very hard last year, not only for my campaign, for President Trump's campaign. He was out knocking doors. He's exactly who we need here in Pitt County. You know, when I go out and visit these counties throughout the district, I talk to a lot of sheriffs, and you can tell the difference between a Democrat-run sheriff's office and a conservative sheriff office. The conservative sheriff office has a waiting list for folks to come work for them. Not here in Pitt County. They're down 10% and the morale continues to fall. We need Gary Weaver as our sheriff here in Pitt County.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Say a couple words.
We back blue. We back blue. We back blue.
Well, thank y'all. It's a privilege to be here, and I'm getting ready to get something to eat when we finish here.
Yeah.
Parker's barbecue, because it's good.
Yes, it is.
Look, this is what I stand for. I stand for the citizens of North Carolina and keeping them safe. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I stand to keep them safe. I will support your Second Amendment right. I will not take those away from you. That's the number one thing. But the number one thing I should say that I stand for also is safety. Safety for people that are true Americans out here, go to work every day and pay the bills. That's who I stand for, and I will support everybody.
They want you to say something. They want you to say something.
Let's be honest. Crime is rising. We need to keep crime down. Crime. Guns, gangs, and drugs. They're going to ruin America. And we see what happens when people try to take guns from law-abiding citizens. Look at Ukraine over there. The government has to give them back when they get a war going on. We won't have that. We're not going to have that. My name is Gary Weaver. I'm running for sheriff of Pitt County. And again, I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you. Got Sandy Moore here, school board.
Yeah,
Great person.
We're going to have Sandy Moore come up here and say a quick few words. She is a hardworking mom. I'm telling you, I've never met a lady that is so determined and has so much passion for our children and their education and making sure that they learn a true education. Sandy Moore.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm so glad to be here. It's a privilege. My name is Sandy Moyer. I'm running for District 7, and I'm running because I'm a parent that's just upset with what's going on in the schools. Schools were assigned to educate our children. That's not what's happening. They're indoctrinating our children. They're sexualizing our children. There needs to be a huge review of the books in the library, class sets. Sorry, a mom.
That's a working mom.
Yeah.
Working mom. Woo!
We have a lot of ideas that we want to implement once we get into the board, but we need your support. One of the first things we want to do is create a curriculum committee where we're reviewing what's being put out. We also want to establish a finance committee, so we're checking what the budget is going to, because there's a lot of bureaucrats that are being hired, and we don't know what those positions are doing, but teachers' assistants and teachers are not getting that money. So we're trying to get in there. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to make sure the kids get the education they were supposed to get, and that parents don't have to worry about sending their kids to school because the kid is going to come back with some sort of language, books that sexualize them, immoral indoctrination. So vote for me. Support us. There's 3 of us running, actually. There's 4 of us. So if we can get 3 of them in, we turn the board. Thank you.
That's right. We need to change the school boards. We need to make them so they're not an extension of the teachers union. They're an extension of our moms and dads in the community. So thank you, Sandy Moyer, for stepping up and running for school board here in Pitt County. You know, we also need to make sure that we secure our border. You know, right now we have people coming in and influxing into our country, and we don't know who they are. When I get to Washington, I want you to rest assured I'm going to fight to finish building that wall and stop this illegal immigration flooding across our yes, exactly. They pointed right to my bus. That's happening to our country. You know, we have this issue over in Ukraine. We don't know who's coming over our border, in the southern border where it's unsecure. We already have had terrorists caught there, and we know darn well that there's probably Russians and who knows who else. We need to know exactly who's coming into their country and vet them and make sure they're coming here for the right reasons. We also, let's talk about, what else do we want to talk about?
Why did Ukraine happen?
Why did Ukraine happen? Ukraine happened directly because of weak leadership. We could have eliminated the Ukraine crisis had we taken actions months ago, if not years ago. There's a lot of disputes in regards to whether or not we should have let Ukraine into the NATO. which would have kept Russia off of their border. But that's a big, deep discussion. But the big thing that caused Ukraine is weak leadership. And we have no leadership here in the United States right now. Joe Biden is trying to run the White House from Delaware. I'm actually surprised that he did not zoom in for the State of the Union. I'm really surprised.
But he's stuck on Amtrak.
But he's stuck on Amtrak. But I'm surprised he didn't zoom in, because you know what? This guy is the biggest puppet, an embarrassment to our country. You know, but when we had Donald J. Trump as our president, we were respected around the world.
Exactly.
We did not have Russia invading Ukraine. We did not have missiles being shot out from North Korea. Yeah, Rocket Man put it away, because they know that and yes, and we got China trying to take Taiwan right now. I mean, they're looking at it. They're watching what happened to Ukraine, and they're flying over that airspace, and we know what's coming, and that's all a direct of weak leadership. And that's why we need strong leadership, not only in the White House, but also in Congress. When we have left liberal radicals that want to change our country fundamentally, that destroys our country. They want to take away all of your rights because they believe they know how to run your life better than you do. The government believes they parent your children, not you. We need to make a message strong and clear that parents parent children, and you have the ultimate choice. And as Americans, we have the God-given freedom to choose what we are, to support our freedoms and liberties and stand up for what's right. So we need to make sure we're taking care of our military. You know, we've got our military, we've got people being kicked out of the military because they wouldn't take that experimental vaccine.
Yes.
And now we have a shortage of military members. You know, right now, our military is not ready because of Joe Biden. Yes.
Speaking of that, and you've met her at some of our meetings, Linda, he's coming up for retirement in the military. But since they're not taking the vaccine, anybody that's up for retirement, they're getting dishonorably discharged. So they don't even get their benefits.
And that's something that when I get to Washington, I'm going to fight to make sure every single one of our military members do not get a dishonorably discharged for not taking experimental vaccine.
That's right. What's your favorite amendment?
My favorite amendment? Gosh, there's quite a few of them. But as you can tell, I like to talk. So the First Amendment is a very important amendment to mine, one of my favorites. But also our Second Amendment, because it's one of the things that definitely keeps us free. That's right. That's why I had to look and see what you're pointing at. and that's why, yes, sir.
Talking about Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia. What's your viewpoint on militia?
What do you
As far as if say we don't have enough military, do you believe our governor can call in the militia to assist the citizens of like in the Second Amendment?
That's what the Second Amendment says is for. But we need to make sure we're protecting our rights to bear arms, because one, we do not want to turn into Australia, and we don't want to have to wait till we're in Ukraine's position where we're being invaded by China and have to distribute guns, and people are like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. We need to make sure our folks have the right to bear arms, and they can freely carry that and protect their families. It's their God-given right to protect their families, period.
What about voter ID? Voter integrity, voter ID.
Oh, voter ID. We absolutely need voter ID. If we need an ID to file for candidacy, to have your name put on the ballot, you absolutely must show your ID to vote for that candidate.
Did you have to show your driver's license today, Sandy?
I did. You know, a lot of you know that we got held up in Raleigh a little bit, and that's because I was down in Florida with President Trump at CPAC last weekend, and we're not allowed to take any bags into the facility. So I gave my bodyguard, aka my husband, big guy back there. I said, here, hold my driver's license for me because I have no pockets. I don't really have pockets here. And I forgot to get it back to him, and got halfway to Raleigh and realized, oh no, I need my ID. And so that was one delay. But then the people at the Board of Elections today, I'm going to say this, were very nice. But it did take a while for us to get everything processed and everything. But you know, yes, we need voter ID. We need to stand up for election integrity. We need to know what happened in 2020 so it doesn't happen again. And I'm going to tell you, we need to push for paper ballots.
Yes.
There is several people in North Carolina that have put some information together that are pushing. I think we're going to have one county, maybe several others that are going to go paper ballots for 2022. On these paper ballots, from what I understand, there could be a watermark as well as a blockchain. So then the public can actually do an audit themselves. They can go and check their vote. And it's something that we definitely need to take a look at because it'd be very beneficial to keep our elections safe and secure. Bottom line, we need to make sure every legal, desiring American that is of age is allowed to vote and can vote. By saying saying they don't have an ID, they can't vote. The thing is, they can get an ID. They have to get an ID to go make a deposit at Bank of America or any bank. Doesn't matter if it's $5 or $100. They have to show an ID. We have folks that are on state assistance. In order for you to qualify for state assistance, you have to show an ID. And if you can't get an ID, there's no charge for it. So, and oh, that's right. If you have a shot, if you got the vaccine shot, you have an ID. It's crazy. We know that this is a plan from the Democrats to try to harvest votes and drum something up that really isn't racist. That's what they're calling. Asking for an ID is supposedly racist, and I think that's embarrassment to our minority voters. Exactly.
But you got to have the idea and everything. I guess that's racist too.
I'm telling you, I had to have it to file for as a candidate. So yes.
So I met Nigel Farage at CPAC. Who was the most incredible person that you met at CPAC this weekend? Who were you starstruck by?
Oh, okay. So I actually have to say this for my husband. He was starstruck by Roman from Epic Times. He absolutely loves Roman. He's a super fan, and actually, Roman from the Epic Times. If you don't have the paper, I highly recommend, subscribing and watching their shows on YouTube. That was really great. Oh gosh, there were so many different people. I met Marjorie. We had Marjorie Green, Lauren Boebert. Yes. Who else? Kat Kamak. Who else? The My Pillow guy. Mike Lindell. Sebastian. Dr. Doug Collins.
Anthony Sabatini.
Anthony Sabatini was there. Our Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson was there. I'm going to tell you, being in North Carolina and having Mark Robinson as our Lieutenant Governor and going out of state to functions and seeing him makes us so proud. He is a true patriot, and I can't say enough great things about him. He did a fantastic job at CPAC.
Tulsi Gabbard, did you see her?
I did not see her. I was in an interview then, and the one person I didn't get to see was John Kennedy.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I was in an interview. I had a media interview that day, so that that moment, I should say. Sean Spicer was really fun.
Did you dance with him?
No, I actually said, "Hi, I'm Sandy Smith," and he's like, "Hi, I'm Sean Spicer." I said, "I know." And he's like, so we had a great little conversation. Really, really, really a nice guy. Yeah. Who? Oh yes, General Flynn. I met General Flynn, who has supported and endorsed my campaign, and his brother Joe. We also Muhammad Ali Jr. Is that the correct name? Yes. So I met him. There was just a lot of great patriots down in CPAC. So
what was it after meeting all those people? What was the theme that you learned from all these people converging on CPAC across the country?
That there's still hope. That we all love our country. And that we cannot give up. We have to continue to fight. And the fight's going to get tough, but you know what? That's why we need true fighters. And I'll tell you, that's one thing I've proven to you all, is I've never stopped fighting for you, and I will never stop fighting for you.
How do you help small businesses thrive and grow local communities throughout our state?
That is a fantastic question. We need to incentivize businesses to develop in our rural communities. One of the things we do have to definitely get is broadband and fiber optic internet to our rural areas. I mean, I don't know about you, but if you don't drive down 64, my phone drops. So we don't even have good cell service there.
Oh, yeah.
So in order for companies to want to come here, especially in 2022, we need to make sure we have that available to them. But more importantly, we have opportunities where we can create opportunity zones to incentivize folks to come and invest in our community. We can offer accelerated depreciation. You know, a lot of folks will tell you they need grants and these big, huge things, which are wonderful, but those are tax dollars. But we have things that we can actually do that's going to actually increase the tax base. If we have somebody who's coming to our community and we convince them to invest and build their corporate office in our rural community, and they're allowed to accelerate their depreciation on that building, and they're really realizing their investment in like 2 years or less sometimes, those folks are then going to have the opportunity to expand and hire more people. What does more people do when we are employing them? That increases our tax base or the income tax base that they're paying into the community. So there's a lot of different opportunities that we can do. Yeah.
Here's a two-for question.
Uh-oh.
A couple of weeks ago, Lieutenant Governor Markeith Robinson spoke at a Frederick Douglass dinner. He made a comment about Joe Biden's crack pipe plan, and he said this. He goes, "Joe, we meant the pipeline, not the crack pipe." So 2 topics. What do you think of both?
Well, first of all, it's funny that you mentioned that. I actually attended the Lee County the Franklin Douglass Lincoln Reagan dinner. I want to make sure I had the whole thing right. I sat with a great group of people who were minority voters and good friends of mine, and some of them were new friends. And the thing is, when we heard what Joe Biden did by offering to encourage drug use versus trying to help these folks, it was an insult. They kind of said, well, you know, it was almost like Joe Biden saying, "Happy Black History Month. Here's a crack pipe for you." You know, that's not going to help the problem. That's embarrassing, and you know, they don't appreciate that. No one appreciates that. You also said about the pipeline. We need to open our pipeline. Like I said earlier, we need to be energy independent. There's no reason why we do not have that pipeline open and running and continuing to build, because we need that. We also need to make sure we drill, baby, drill, just like Lauren Boebert had on her cape dress shirt the other night. Drill, baby, drill. Yes, sir.
With the opioid crisis in North Carolina, how do you feel? Are you for or against the legalization of medical marijuana?
I am not a doctor, and I'm not going to tell you and your doctor what he should be prescribing to you. I think we have a huge opioid pandemic here, I should say. I don't want to call it a pandemic, but it's an epidemic, I should say. Excuse me, not pandemic. We got that PAM epidemic. And part of that is because we have an open border, and they're carrying that stuff across in the truckloads, and that's destroying our communities. So we need to have. That's why we need to have a strong immigration crackdown on our southern border by shutting that border down. So, God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Sandy Smith.
No, people need to participate harder in this, electric integrity classes. So sign up to be cold washed. We need people with their boots on the ground. They try to make a little more legal election this year.
Absolutely. If you want to get involved with my campaign or just want to get involved with politics, we need your help. We need precinct captains that can make sure the folks in their area know where they have to vote, and that's where you get active. That's where it all begins. So if you want to get active, or if you want to help my campaign, please reach out to Brandon. Yes, let's go, Brandon. So thank you guys again. God bless you all. And let me make sure you go to sandysmithnc.com and make sure on May 17th, vote for Sandy Smith for 1st Congressional District. Thank you guys. God bless.
Sandy Smith. Sandy Smith.
That's great.
Where's our mascot? Oh, there he is.
He don't say much.
I'm going to sit this right here.